Generational wealth in the works. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Today I'm here with Shakura, and we are going to talk about generational wealth, right? In the works, right? So everybody says that it's a buzzword, especially in the African American community right now and on social media. You know, everybody talks about it, right? But what's different about this story, and I hope you can watch to the end, is Shakura is actually doing it, right? And a lot of times we think of generational wealth as the money, right? The aspect of it. But it's not so much the money, because if you never had any money in your life and you're watching this, or we all have seen a young person, if you went to college, if you didn't go to college, whereas somebody got a bunch of money, maybe somebody passed in their family, they got a lawsuit, or they inherited something, and we probably didn't even know they inherited something because they just stayed in the same position they was prior, and they didn't do anything because they blew all the money. But my personal belief in what Shakura is doing is the most important piece to generational wealth is actually the knowledge, right? The information, because that's what's priceless and that's what's going to be that you can actually hand down. So Shakura, thank you for coming on the channel.
Thank you for having me.
What I want to do, right, before we hop into that, tell us about your story. And you're actually second generation real estate investor.
I am.
Okay. All right, so tell us about your story, about how you grew up, and what did you always want to get into real estate, and and how did you end up here where you are today?
Well, I was kind of born into this thing.
Okay.
Right? So I think it was something I was meant to do. My parents started a real estate firm, and we purchased, we managed, and we did all of our own works. My parents wanted to make sure that all of the children were involved. So, I mean, I scrubbed floors, I painted, I did everything. First time, a big event for me, okay? I was 14, and I answered a call, and it was someone interested in a property on Jefferson Davis here in Charlotte. And I know you know it.
I know Jefferson Davis, yeah.
Yeah, and so he called, he was interested in purchasing a home. No one was there, right? My parents weren't there, so I handled the call and got it scheduled. When my parents came home, they took me to the showing, and I toured the property, and everything went well, right? So it was an all cash deal, and the house sold. So I was there for the attorney, I was there for everything. I didn't get paid, okay?
Right.
I didn't get paid. I went through that, and then I just continued on. I got married, and then I went into property management and multifamily. So we basically dealt with my parents. It was just houses, duplexes, things of that nature, single family. And when I went into multifamily, the first weekend on site, I was there by myself, and I was hired as a manager, which is not the norm, right? But they took it from the experience that I had prior to. And I was a teenager, let's say that, right? So I was a teenager, I was there by myself, at least 20 apartments. They were blown away. I didn't know why, but now I do, right?
Yeah.
So from there, I said, I love this, but I didn't like the management part of it so much. I loved leasing. So I started traveling nationwide, leasing apartments. And then we became the first full service in the nation because we incorporated in 2005. Once we did that, we brought on so many different services. Initially, it was accelerated leasing, marketing, trading. Then we brought on our staffing division. So that's all positions in multifamily, compliance specialists, things of that nature. Then we brought on our maintenance heroes division, which is all things maintenance. So we do everything from the ground up. And we have our training division, and we have an apprenticeship that is federally recognized. And that's where we are. That's where we are today.
After high school, did you go to college?
I went, now that's crazy, right? Because I know some people are like, oh my God, but I actually got out of school early, right? I remember Miss PA, she told me, she said, listen, you are not going to graduate on time, because I had gone through a situation, I had missed too much time out of school, right? So she told me, you need to go and get your GED. I talked to my parents about it. We went down to get the GED. When I went to get my GED, I scored above average, right? And so they were like, you're on a college level. So So there was a fight between the school and CPCC. So I actually have both. I have a diploma. I never walked. I have a GED. And I then went for commercial advertisement. I did not finish. So I do not have a college degree.
But you made it this. I just wanted to highlight that you made it this far without that piece of paper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
I know, right?
we all know somebody who has that piece of paper and is struggling in life, personal, financially, both, whatever. They just can't get it together. I mean, I thought coming out of college, and I finished school in 07, I thought coming out of college that I was going to automatically walk into a $40,000 a year job, because I just thought, you know, that's $40,000. That's what things start at, so that's good enough for me. And I mentally had the money spent. I was going to get me the Nissan Maxima.
The car, right?
The Nissan Maxima.
All right, I the Maxima. That was a big thing. Look, the Honda was my thing. Okay.
Now, the Nissan Maxima had a little moonroof strip, and on the commercial, it was like it had like a black guy in a suit on it. So you like, oh,
so you're like, I'm empowered.
I could do that. I could do that. This ain't bad. First job out of college was $10 an hour in the call center.
Oh man.
Talk about disappointment.
Man.
All right.
After college, after spending all that money.
After spending all that money, yeah,
Okay.
$10 an hour. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, reality had to sink in. And but fortunately, I read this quote. It was like, if you show me a stock boy that makes $8 an hour that says he's a stock boy, that's all he is a stock boy. But if you show me a stock boy that makes $8 an hour, that's a dreamer. He's not a stock boy.
That's right.
So that's fortunately I had bigger plans to do, you know, more in life than be a call center worker. We interviewed your son and we did a walkthrough on this beautiful Airbnb. I'm gonna put that up at the end if you didn't see it. But your son, he started this project and like managing all this at 17.
Yeah, he did. Proud mommy moment.
Of course. Yeah, and I'm proud of him as well, because you don't see that a lot in the African American community, however, but that's needed.
Yeah.
And it's needed to see that, right? Because with us, like even when I was in, I'm old, so I finished high school in 01, but even back then it was like they look at all young black men like they want to be rappers, entertainers, which they don't view us as that we want to be businessmen. They don't view us like that for whatever reason. And especially the younger you are, because I've been wanting to be, it was my dream to be a real estate investor since 19, so 20 years, it's 20 years. And that's because I seen somebody else who looked like me do it. Overheard my father talking, saying, hey, our neighbors sold the house to an investor for $150, the investor put 20 into it and sold it for $270. So I don't know anything about money costs, closing costs, realtor fees. So in my 19-year-old mind, wait, he just made $100,000? Man, I need to do this. Whatever this is, I gotta do it.
Exactly.
So I was set on that. But anyway, now as far as, was there any signs that your son showed you that he was ready for this moment? Or did you instill that in him since birth?
Well, my husband and I instilled that in him.
Okay.
And we have always been focused on do for self, generational wealth. That's always been a big thing for us. And Joshua, he was good. You know, he was responsible. He had been working with the company for a while, so we felt that it was time, you know, put him to the test. And my husband, like you know, you say you're a Doru, right?
Yeah.
My husband says all the time, I'm not a talker, I'm a doer.
Yes.
Right? So we just did it.
Now, did your husband go to college?
He did.
Okay.
He went to college.
What school did he go to?
He was in New York.
This may sound biased, but people from up north, New Jersey, New York, they just have a hustle to them that nobody else in the country has. People on the internet argue with me about Miami and other.
No. I'm all for it. I married a hustler. Okay? I'm all for it.
Yeah, you know, Miami, I heard Miami and all that. And you know, just that New Jersey, New York, that up north energy, bro.
And Charlotte.
Okay.
We gotta give it. Come on now. We gotta give it to it.
Charlotte's a beautiful place. I'll say that. But just having that energy, just because you have to do more than to survive up there, and it's just natural. So, because when I moved down to Charlotte, it was like, oh, I'm in Candyland. You know, of course I had to go through my process and get the bumps and bruises, but it's like, yo, it's too much opportunity for me to settle being in the call center.
Right.
Now, yeah, so as far as your son, right? So y'all both instilled that into him. Did y'all have an allowance process?
For him?
Yeah.
Well, Joshua worked during the whole time, right? So he got paid. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about since as a kid.
Oh.
As a kid, did you do like an in-house allowance, or it was like,
you know what?
It was like, you live here, you gonna do this?
It was like with our children, we really didn't do allowance so much, to be honest with you. You know, everybody has a responsibility, right? We're responsible for paying the bills, right? Yeah. Going to work, that's our responsibility. You're responsible for going to school and doing what you're supposed to do. So.
Okay, I like that. All right. You forwent the entitlement mentality. Like, you didn't just give.
Right.
It's like, yo, listen, this is what you gotta do. This our contribution, this is your contribution. You know, and fortunately they followed the plan. Now, as far as like with this, right, with the generational wealth thing, like, did you make them read? Were you hard on them about keeping a above 3.0 GPA?
Oh yeah. Listen, like I said, everybody has a responsibility. That's their responsibility to do what they're supposed to do. So absolutely, 100%. Okay. They have to be knowledgeable. They got to read. They got to study. They got to follow suit. They had to follow our lead. You know, I remember when our children were young, we would literally post on the door, right? The front door, so they would come downstairs and they'd see job openings, right? And so they would call us up. They would schedule an interview. We still have video of it, right? Because we wanted to see how they progressed, right? So they would have jobs with us, whether it was personal assistant, whatever it was. So they knew they had to work and they had to own their own.
Now, with the job posters in the house, was there a pay scale next to it?
That was negotiable. That was negotiable. It was based on, you know, a few different things, right? So how did you perform at your previous task? And different things of that nature. How did you present yourself when you interviewed? So.
Yeah, I made them go through the interview process?
Oh, yes. I mean, listen, put on a suit and everything. So, absolutely. You got to prepare your babies. They got to be prepared.
Okay, so
you don't just get a job, right? Just like you don't just pick up properties. You got to work for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Wow. So, all right. Has
that make me feel like I did? It's like, wow, y'all had to, yes, they had to do that.
Has there ever been a time whereas you made that, like you said, yeah, I don't think you're ready for this responsibility?
Oh yeah. You know what? I'll tell you a quick story. My daughter, she was working in the office. She was the office assistant. She was young then. She cut her finger. We told her, I'm sorry. Here's a severance package. We're going to give you some chocolate and $1. You're fired, right? It's a wrap. And then she said, and now I'm suing after she got her stuff. And I was like, no, you can't sue. You signed a thing. And she said, Mama, you always told me there's a way. You don't give up. You don't quit. Now, and it was crazy, right? So, but yeah, it's totally on them how successful they want to be.
Wow.
Look, we weren't that hard. You know, I can say they enjoyed working more with their father than they did me.
But I'm quite sure you prepared them lunch. So.
No, I didn't. Listen, all jokes aside, I believe in, so we run a very militant household, right? And you talk about being a wife, mother, all of that, hands down. I'm there for it.
Okay. All right. So
they got lunch.
So you fired your daughter. You did give her a severance package, which was nice of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? $1 and some chocolate. And she said, hey, listen, I'm going to sue you. All right. And from there, and you said, sue me? What? So from there, your daughter then said, you taught me when there's a will, there's a way. So I'm going to assume that you instilled in them not to quit.
Oh, that's right. You can't quit.
Okay. I wanted to highlight that because my father, he would not let me quit anything. If I signed up for it growing up as a kid, he would not let me quit. I broke my arm, I had to get surgery playing football. I didn't want to play football no more. I was done. I had room surgery. I'm a kid, like fourth grade. He like, well, my both mother and father. I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna play. Oh, you gonna play out there next year? So,
Oh God.
next year, when the football came around, I just wasn't gonna say anything, and hopefully, they forget. Man, they made me go out there, try out for the team, and play.
Oh,
And
man.
yeah, like just would not let me quit. I got the lessons. You don't get the lessons until you get out on your own into the world. That's when you get the lessons of what your parents saying, because it's so many people that have came to me in my real estate career, and I've been at this full time for 10 years, been involved since 2007, that came to me and said, hey, I want to do real estate. And they quit before anything happened because they're just not willing to put the work in, and they're okay with quitting. You just can't be okay with quitting and giving up. You gotta have that mentality. And I tell people, hey, it's a jungle out here, but you're gonna have to line up.
That's right.
So you're gonna just have to just deal with it. All right, so you have this property. Y'all handled the financing part. He did the project management. He's actually graduating early, which is impressive. And you graduated early. So it kind of runs in the family, I guess.
Yeah.
Are your daughters on track to graduate early too?
My daughters?
Yeah.
Well, everybody's out of school except I have a 13-year-old. Our
Okay.
daughter, yeah, she'll be 14. So.
Okay.
So we'll see.
All right.
She's
Child
smart.
prodigy.
She's smart. We'll see.
How did you instill like life after high school? Like, I'm quite sure y'all started in grade school, because my mother was an educator, and she would always tell me, like, instill in us, you're going to college, you need to do this, because when you go to college, she always instilled that, the higher level thinking, the next level. So with that being said, what did y'all instill with him growing up?
It's about what you want to do, right? If you want to go to college, fine, we'll pay for that, right? But if you don't want to go to college, that's fine too. But you have to have something, some kind of paper behind your name, right? So if you want to be an electrician, whatever, you got to have something. It's got to be some kind of trade.
When did you start having that conversation with him?
Oh, that has been from the beginning.
When he was in diapers?
Yeah, no, seriously, because we have other children, we have older children, so it's always been a thing.
Okay, so as far as like this, we're in this Airbnb, and he's graduating, he's ready to go out there in the world and take over. A lot of people in our community, when they graduate high school, they say, yo, our parents let us down because they didn't teach us about credit, buying houses and things of that nature. However, if you are my age bracket, my father, he didn't get his rights until his lifetime, till like 1968. So he was already 18, he got his rights. So our parents had to deal with something that, just being real, most people can't deal with today. Like, people just would not be able to deal with what our parents had seen, being, attacked by dogs, sprayed in the water and all that. So with that being said, I don't think that they couldn't teach you about something they didn't know about, and especially when legally they couldn't know about it, it couldn't take place in it.
Right.
You're an advocate for credit, others people's money. Can you give me an example, like how has credit impacted you and how you prepped your children?
Let me say this. So this is when I found out that credit was really important. We were running the business, everything was going great, and I was using my father's credit card to rent all of our cars, right? Because we had people all over the place, but we had to have a credit card to get a car. So I went to Wells Fargo to get an account. I was denied. Now, mind you, I had plenty of money in the account. I had over 45 different bank accounts with Wells Fargo. It wasn't my money, okay? Because I was managing properties. But it looked like it was my money. And then I had, we were doing pretty good. We were well off. So we had plenty of money in the bank. And they said no, right? So that's when I realized how important credit really was, right? Because it was a slap in the face to me. And from there, I just said, we have to, because I've always been that person. I felt like debt is slavery. I don't want to be in debt. I just don't want it, right? So we started building for our children. Even when they were younger, you can literally at the age of 12 get them credit cards. So that's what we started doing. So Joshua by himself has $100,000 in credit. His credit is A1. He also has business credit. Everything is set up for him. Everything is set up. So my father told me years ago, he said, listen, you need to use other people's money. I was like, no, I'm not listening to that, right? I always listen to my father, and I would not listen to that because I did not want to be in debt. So everything, our cars, our houses, everything with the business, everything we were paying for. But at the same time, running a multi-million-dollar business, we were struggling, okay? Because payroll was coming around, and what was payroll? Like 100 grand sometimes, 50 grand. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. So we don't want to be in that situation anymore. So credit is most definitely important, and it's important to get your children set up for it before they need it.
Credit is extremely important here. America was built on credit. So it's
credit.
So with that being said, man, this is extremely important to have that knowledge, because one thing about finances, regardless if you're an entrepreneur, you got a job, or whatever you do in life, you're going to be working with finances the rest of your life. Like the rest of your life, you're going to be working with finance. So that's something that should be taught. And you're an advocate of education starts in the house. So you just don't send them to school and depend on them to do everything.
You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah. Wrapping this up, is there anything you want the viewers to know about you?
Let's see. Gosh, I wish you would have asked me that first. Look, we are community builders. We see ourselves as community builders because we help build the community. We are here for all people, but we most definitely assist the unfortunate, the ones who don't have it. We make it to where they can go to bed and feel good. So we offer jobs, we offer training, we offer certification and employment. I'm also a huge advocate for entrepreneurship, so we assist people to get their own.
People want to reach out to you. Now, can you give them your social media?
Yeah, sure. I'm on Facebook, Shakura Connor.
What's your Instagram link?
At Shakura.
At Shakura. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to put that on the screen, and we're going to put it in the description link so you can reach out to her. I'm Nasser, aka the Real Estate Doru. I'm not a guru, I'm a Doru because I actually do this business. And if you missed the video last week with her son, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put that on the screen. So make sure you click on that and check out this Airbnb property, man. It's beautiful. Peace.